Hey best friend, I hope you're doing well. My name is Afi Elizabeth. If this is your first time on my channel, you are most definitely welcome. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also press that notification bell button. It doesn't make no noise, but it will make a noise. If I upload, it'll be like ding or zzz, some type of notification letting you know that I, your best friend across the screen, in real life, however way you want to make this friendship happen, has uploaded a new video. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the notification bell button to be notified when I do post a video. With that being said, let's just get started with this video right here. This is one of my videos that were requested, and I'm so sorry if I'm late, but it's better late than never, right? Whoa, I need to stop doing that. I really do. Stop with the whoa. So the good thing about this how to put on makeup is going to be all drugstore products. So it's going to be products that you will be able to afford. Okay, so first thing first, before you put on your makeup, you always have to use something to moisturize the lips, okay? My lips look naturally ashy, I promise you they're not. So now that we did that, let's go into primer. So for my primer, I like to use something that helps my oily skin, because I am combination to oily skin, which means I don't get too greasy. So where I get my grease, my oils are usually my T-zone. Your T-zone is like this. It's like a triangle. That's what it's called, T-zone, because it's like a little triangle. So it's from here. Let me just mark it. It's from here, here. Sometimes I get oily here, but most of the time I get it from like my forehead, my nose, and then like underneath my eyes, if that makes sense. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to do a do side and a don't side to make it a lot more understandable, and so you can make sure you know what you're doing wrong. So do will be on this side. Let's do on this side. My don't will be on my left, because I don't like my left hand anyway. So we're gonna go ahead and put the hair back. So we're gonna put primer on both do and don't. So what primer basically does is it keeps your makeup steady during the day. I remember when I started wearing makeup back in high school, I had no idea what primer was. So I would just wear my foundation, and then during the day my face would be super greasy, and I'll go to the bathroom like my foundation is like one here, one there. It just looked so bad. Those were the days, man. The days of torture. But I started to go to this modeling school, fashion school, and they taught me how to put makeup on a little bit. And I noticed that when you put a primer on, your makeup ends up being flawless the whole entire day. So I don't have my actual spoolie, but I'm gonna use my edge brush. We're gonna do something that I've been doing lately that I really like for those who have really bushy eyebrows. One side I'm gonna spray my eyebrows with the Got To Be gel, and then the other side I'm not gonna do it, so you guys can see the difference. So I'm just gonna, usually I use it on a spoolie. So we're gonna brush it the way that we wanna have the brows facing. And lately I've been loving my brows just looking like sharp. I don't know what it is. So on this side I'm going to use this edge control brush, and we're going to act like it's a spoolie, okay? So we're going to do two different things. So on my do side, I'm going to do my brows without doing my foundation first. Some people do this and it works perfectly for them, but I highly recommend this as a beginner. If you are a beginner to makeup and you're trying to do your brows, doing the brows before the foundation, it will help you out a lot. If you mess up, you can just wipe it off, compared to doing your brows with the foundation on. If you mess it up, sis, you're gonna have to wipe the whole entire foundation off, because once foundation sits on your face, in my opinion, it's kind of hard to add on to that foundation. So for me, I like to do my brows before my foundation. My sister does it, and I got into the wagon. I was like, wow, it's actually really helpful. I didn't like the technique at first, but the more I started to do it, the more I'm like, pretty good. So I am going to be using everybody's favorite concealer, which is the LA Girl Pro Concealer. I am also going to be using everybody's favorite when it comes to eyebrows, which is the eye pencil. Some people use cream, some people don't. You don't have to use cream. I sometimes do, sometimes don't, but it's up to you. You don't have to use cream, sis. So one thing about eyebrows that I've noticed people do, some people use brown eyebrow pencil. That's a big no-no. Do not use brown eyebrow pencil. The only reason why I say this is because when you use a black eyebrow pencil, it makes your eyebrows a lot bolder. You don't want the eyebrows to appear bold and like people like, yo, I've seen it done a lot. Especially in my culture, a lot of tontine like to use black eyebrow pencil. So I highly recommend you guys to not do that. I mean, if you can make it work, you can make it work, but I prefer you using something that's like natural, black, brown in between. Yeah, so on this side we sprayed it with Got To Be gel. We're not going to do a foundation, we're just going to trace the brows. And because I have hairy brows, like my brows are really, they're very full, I'm not gonna like do dramatic. I'm just gonna trace the outside, only because I have really full brows. You see what I mean? When you mess up, you can just redo it. If I had my spoolie, this will look a lot better if I had my spoolie. I have no clue where my spoolie went. So you just want to brush. By brushing, you're actually taking away the extra colors that you put on your brows. Like, you see that brown right there? By brushing, you're doing just that. So on this side is the side that I didn't put any Got To Be gel. I just sprayed it. And the mistake will be, it's going to be dull. You don't want to use a dull brow pencil. So you see when people use light colors on their brows, hoping I let you see. Not let you see. You see what I mean? When you mess up, you can just wipe it. So because we kind of like skipped ahead, we're not going to do that anymore. So on this side we're going to put foundation on. On this side we're going to put foundation on before we put our eyebrows on. So we're going to do this because some people tend to do this a lot. We're going to use, on this side, I'm going to use a beauty blender that is not damp. And on this side, I'm going to use a this is clean, I promise y'all. I recently used this. On this side, I'm going to use a beauty blender that is damp. So the difference between a damped beauty blender, you see how big it is and squishy it is, and a non-damp beauty blender, you see how hard it is. It's going to be hard for you to blend. So on this side, I'm going to use a damp beauty blender. I'm going to put it on my palm or on my hands. Use this side right here, which is usually the face side. And I'm just going to apply it. When I first started makeup, I didn't know that you had to damp these. So like, I would just put my makeup on, and then when I took pictures, it was like a huge flashback. And then I learned that you're supposed to damp them. And then I didn't know that you're supposed to like use it when it's not completely wet. So you want to make sure that your sponge is not fully wet, but it's damped enough. It feels like I'm slapping myself. Hard. So we're just gonna stop right here. We're not gonna drag it to the neck so you can tell the difference. I mean, I know this foundation is somewhat my skin tone. Like, I should have used something that wasn't my skin tone so you guys can tell. But we're gonna play it fair and square. Okay, so this side is a foundation with a hard beauty blender, and we're gonna now do our eyelashes, our eyebrows. And I'm just gonna brush it back up again, and we're gonna start with something This is kind of black. Okay. So on this side will be a do's and don't about, well, the don't about brows. When people do their brows, they don't necessarily trace it. They just color it. You don't want to be that person that has full brows and you're coloring the brows. You don't want to do that. So a lot of people do this. I see this a lot, especially in my community of makeup. People tend to do this. Like they don't do it natural like this. And on top of that, you're using black pencil. So only imagine if I did this to my face every day. So this is how it looks. It's actually pretty okay. You see what I mean? Like you're coloring the hair, but you're not making it look natural. So on this side, now that I did this side, I'm gonna go ahead and clean my brows on this side so you can really see this natural look to it. So with that, we're gonna use something that's a little bit closer to our skin tone when it comes to natural makeup. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use the LA Girl Pro Concealer. I know it's not the concealer way because I broke the top of it. We're gonna put it on the flick of the wrist. Look at the flick of the wrist. And we're going to use a concealer brow brush. So for my concealer brush, I'm gonna be using the Morphe M421 brush. This is really good for someone that's trying to like do their brows with like that highlight effect. So I'm gonna use it and I'm just gonna follow that line. And then on this side, I'm not even gonna conceal. I'm just gonna leave it like this. That's one mistake people do all the time, is they just leave it like that. They do not conceal, and it drives me insane. The difference between concealing your eyebrows and not concealing, you will know, like it cleans it up and it makes it look really good. So you want to conceal. So on this side, like I was saying, I had to take a break for a minute. On this side, I'm just gonna blend it. You can use your fingers, you can use a beauty blender. That is all on you, how you prefer to do it, but I highly recommend you to either use your fingers or your beauty blender. I'm going to use my fingers to blend it. Now, normally I use my beauty blender because I'm good at it now, but you're going to get there. Don't worry, you're going to get there. You're going to get there. And then for my top, I love doing this, and I highly recommend for people to do this too, is use their what do you call this thing? Use their foundation for the highlight at the top. So I'm gonna use my my foundation just to clean that up. You see that? That's cute, isn't it? I'm just gonna drag it upward. And that's it. So right here, we're not going to do anything. We're just going to leave it the way it is. I see a lot of people do this type of mistake where they just leave it the way it is. They don't use the concealer to actually help it out. So we're just going to go ahead on this side. Well, we already did. But on this side right here, we're going to go ahead and apply our foundation after we do all that. So with this side, I'm applying the foundation with a wet beauty blender. And if you can tell, I hope you can tell, how easy it is for me to just go and just mix and just blend everything. Compared to how I was, when I was using the, okay, let me stop. So on this side, I'm using a damp beauty blender, and it's a lot easier because it's helping me not add too much foundation on my face. It's basically just helping me spread the foundation around because it's damp and it's not wet, so it's like something very easy to just drag, you know. So with the foundation, I'm gonna add just a little bit, and I'm gonna take it right here, you know, just add it just for full coverage, and then I'm gonna also drag it down my neck. On this side we didn't do it, we just stopped it here. So the only reason why I do this is because I don't want my foundation to just be on my face. You want, when you do this, when you do look up, let me not do that. I'm gonna pull my way down. When you look up, you want everything to match your skin tone. So you see how smooth the foundation looks on this side compared to this side? You can just tell just by looking, because my skin tone is not full coverage, and you can tell how dry it is and it's not moisturized. It just looks a little bit too cakey compared to here. It's like just whoa, you know. I think it's really nice on this side. So next we're gonna do the highlight. For the highlight, we're gonna use one that's lighter and one that's comparable to somewhat my skin tone. So one that's kind of like close to my skin tone is this LA Girl Pro Concealer, and one that's not close to my skin tone. It brings kind of like of a light or bright to my under eye. Let's try Milani. Let's see if Milani will work. So we're gonna use LA Girl Pro Concealer on this side, and then on this side we're just gonna try to be a beauty guru. So we're just gonna pour it on here. I see a lot of people just, they don't control their concealer, like they just pour it on there. You want to be able to control your concealer. So the difference between this and this, I sometimes drag my concealer down if I want to do a dramatic look, but 80% of the time I like to keep my makeup look simple and natural, so I don't do this a lot. But for those who do this, one, they use a lighter concealer, and two, you can tell when the amount of concealer they use. That lighter concealer, you know that when they take a flash picture, you're gonna get a flashback for sure. So you want to use something that's closer to your skin tone but not too close to your skin tone, that gives you like a highlighter effect. So for me, this side is always my go-to. Always. The difference between my concealer on this side, I have a round face. Different faces, shape, have to do this differently. I've learned that for me, when it comes to my round face, I want to keep my concealer from my brows. Like, it can't go past my brows. It has to be right here. Because if I take a picture and I'm smiling, it will make my face whiter than usual. So on this side, we're going to like drag it all the way, so you're going to see the difference. So I'm just going to keep it inside of my brows. And I'm also going to carry this on top of my brow lids or my eyelids. Now on this side, I'm gonna use another beauty blender. I'm gonna just go ahead and I'm gonna push it out. So on to the setting part. For the setting part, I'm gonna use two different type of setting powder. And one is going to be my Airspun setting powder that you can purchase at Walmart. It pops open, so I'm going to use the top right here. I'm not going to go and use this because it's going to be too much. And then we're going to use the Black Opal setting powder as well, which is this color. Now the difference between this and this is like an actual dark powder. It's not a translucent powder. You're gonna see the difference. So when you open this, it has its own sponge, which I don't really use a sponge. So when you open this, you already can tell like it has that color into it. Compared to this is just a plain white. So we're gonna use the dark one on this side and a translucent one on this side, so you can tell the difference. So we're gonna use this translucent powder, and I'm gonna blow the excess off, and I'm just gonna dap it on my face. Cool. Put some on my forehead just because I get oily on my forehead, on my chin. And then on this side, we're gonna go ham. We're gonna use this dark one, which I see people use all the time. I'm not even gonna blow it. This is what makes me cringe. I can tell if someone just put their setting powder on their face without blowing off the excess powder. You want to blow the excess powder because it's gonna keep your face from looking cakey and ashy. I promise you. I promise you. So I'm just gonna, we're just gonna set this, set it right here, and then they have this thing where you, I blew it, didn't I? Okay, and then you carry it like this. you don't want to do all, I feel like, one, you don't want to over drag it. I feel like when you drag it, it makes it look so bad. But hey, I'm here to teach you. You don't want to be like that. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. So on this side, what I like to do is, as soon as I apply this on, I like to go ahead and wipe it off because I don't like the ashiness that it gives me when I do put my makeup on, when I do let it sit for a while. So I'm going to go in with my Black Radiance in the color Bronze Gold. And this is the pressed powder. I'm going to tap it on here, tap the excess off, and I'm just going to wipe. Now you're gonna see a little bit of whiteness, and that's okay. That is basically what a translucent powder does. If you put too much of it, I feel like I got heavy-handed on this side, but it's okay. I'm gonna show you guys a trick that I do when I feel like I got heavy-handed. So this is gonna be kind of tricky because I'm gonna let this sit. You guys gonna see if I let it sit. And on this side, I'm just gonna get my Makeup Revolution setting powder, and I'm gonna set it because I like to set my, after I do all this, I like to set it because one, what it does is it takes off the excess powder and it keeps my face from looking cakey. So when I do this step, it really helps to remove all that cakiness that I applied on my face, and it brings my face back to life. So I'm gonna, so you see what I mean? It looks so nice. This side of the eyes, I'm gonna start with my eyeshadow. What I like to do with my eyeshadow is I like to use my concealer. Some people use their eyeshadow primer. I think when you use a concealer, it works a lot better instead of using a primer, only because, I don't know, I feel like concealer brings it out. It brings the eyeshadow more, and it's like, it gives you that natural, it just makes your eyeshadow melt a lot better on your skin. So on this side, now that we feel like everything is ready, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna wipe it off. You can just tell, like, it drives me insane. So you don't want to be on this side. You want to be more on this side. You see the difference on this side? Ooh, my wig is being pushed back. And we're gonna move on to eyeshadows. So what we did is, because I have extra skin, I'm gonna, these eye boogers like to show up every time I do my makeup, bro. So I'm gonna just make sure and dab it a lot more. You see what the eye booger made me do? So now we're just gonna just make sure the creasing part is taken care of. So for my eyes, I'm gonna use the City Mini palette. You can also find this at Walmart, Target, whichever store sells makeup. I'm sure you can find this there. And I like this palette because it tells you what to use and like what color you can blend. I mean, of course you can use all of these colors, but I like the fact that it keeps it in a square, so it's like this color will look good with these two colors, and this is more like, it gives you like a daytime, nighttime look, if I'm making sense. So I'm gonna go in with this maroon color right here, and I'm going to apply it on to my crease. I like using this color as my translucent color. So I'm gonna follow that crease. How you know is if you do this, you see. But for me, because I have extra skin, I want to make sure that it goes over, you know. You see that? You see the difference when you blend and you take your time? So while I do that, I'm also gonna get a little bit, and I'm gonna drag it. You don't want to over drag it. You just want a little bit. Whew. So on this side of the eyes, I'm going to use the same eye color. What I'm going to do differently is, one, I'm going to use a bigger brush. You don't want to use something this big to do your eyes. Sometimes I do when I feel lazy, but normally you're not supposed to if you're trying to do the crease. So I'm going to do this, and remind you, I didn't even prime this side. I'm just going to go ahead and add it on there and not care. And I'm not even going to do this. I'm just going to get through and just add it on there. Now you can see that it does show the eyeshadow, but the only thing is with this, I put concealer underneath this before I added the eyeshadow. So because I didn't do this during the day, it's going to come off. So it's not going to keep your eyeshadow, the one, stay all day, and two, the color is going to start fading during the day, especially if you have, you know, extra skin on your eyelids. You'll see the difference. Now you see how this is a lot more bolder than this side? Is because one, the brush is huge, and two, it's like eating up my entire eyes. Yeah, this could be a look. And on top of that, you have a bold eye, you have bold brows, and then you have bold eyeshadow. You gotta be very brave to come out the house like this. So I'm not even gonna blend, and I'm not gonna drag it underneath the eyes. So that's one. The second one, I'm going to use the same palette, and I want to go with this nude color up top. So I'm gonna use this brush right here, which is BH Cosmetic. Tap that and just apply it. And then on this side, I'm gonna just use a regular schmuggler, another big brush, because I know beauty stores like selling a lot of these big brushes, and I'm not gonna tap it out, I'm just gonna put it on there. And you see how powdery this looks? You're just adding it to the eyes. Like, you're not even blending, you're just putting it on there. Like, you see how much powder I just put on my eyelids? So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna add this neutral gold right here, and just to add a little bit of shimmer, I'm gonna use my fingers. And on this side, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna use my fingers, and I'm not even watching where I'm putting it. I'm like gonna drag it all the way to the top, but I actually just stopped right there, so like when I do open my eyes, you can see it. And here I'm just gonna just put it without controlling it. So you can't really tell what is the transition eyeshadow and what's not. Here you can tell what's the transition eyeshadow because it's that brown, you know? So this gives you like a nice natural calm type of eyeshadow, you know, kind of like on the soft glam section, not too strong, just a little bit. And then here it's like, it's just you being you, you know? Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and contour. Whew. So a lot of people, when they contour, they tend to get a dark contour stick, and it's okay because contours are supposed to be a little bit darker, and that's something that I wouldn't recommend, but it's also hard to find something that matches, but it's like a little bit on the darker side. So I'm gonna use two different contour sticks. I'm gonna use a cream and I'm gonna use a stick. So the cream is from Elf Cosmetic, and then the stick is from Makeup Revolution. So the do's about this is I'm gonna go ham on it. I'm not even gonna do it lightweight. You want to do it lightweight. That's the key to contour. You want to do it lightweight. So this is dark, okay, and this is a wrong shade color. So I'm gonna go dark. I'm just gonna do this the harsh way. Do a little. I've seen people drag it all the way down here. You don't want to do that. Please don't be that person. Do not be that person. So on here, my contour is gonna stop right here. You see that? Right here. Because A, it's darker than my skin tone, and B, when I blend it out, you're gonna see how easy it is for it to just melt into my skin. So on this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my beauty blender and I'm just going to wipe off that creamy look so it won't be too harsh on my contour. So I'm going to drag it down now. So on this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, because it's not too harsh on this brush, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to just drag it like this without even taking off that extra cream. I'm just going to drag it down and drag it down. So when people contour, they tend to mess this up a lot. When you have a creamy contour, you want to make sure your beauty blender takes off that extra wetness that you have on that creamy. When you see the cream, you want to make sure you take that off. And then you don't want to be too harsh on your contour, which I see, like when somebody does contour, you don't want it to be noticeable that you have a contour. You want it to be, you don't want it to be noticeable that you have a contour. You want it to be a little bit blended into your skin. So here it's like you can tell that I got a contour. And beginner contour, I understand, is really tough, but you don't want this harsh line. You don't want people to know that you did a contour. This side right here is contour and it looks good. You know, it looks good. It looks good. This side, so when it comes to my nose contour, this is also like my struggle point. So some people like to get it all the way down. I don't do that anymore. What I do with my nose contour is sometimes I get a actual cream. I get a stick and I contour. Sometimes I just use it like this. But just because this is a lot darker than my actual contour, because I usually use the Fancy Beauty contour stick. So I like to start from here and then like get it. Because when you start from here, it makes your face, your nose a lot narrow than starting it here. I don't know, I've noticed that, like ever since I changed that technique to my contour, it makes it a lot better. I don't know if that makes sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use my contour angle brush. Some people use just a regular blending brush. I like this because when I do this, it actually, you know, helps. And I highly recommend you to contour before you put eyeshadow on. I don't know what happened. I think I just got happy-handed and I decided to do this without you know, thinking it through. So on this side, we're not even gonna point it. Usually if you use a beauty blender, you want to squeeze it and like point, but here we're just gonna contour, not even gonna think twice. Like it's blended but it's not contoured, if that makes sense. Compared to here, it looks very contoured. Although the contour stick is a little bit darker, it's okay. If we did a don't on the nose, it's fine. But if you do have a contour stick that's somewhat, you know, on the brown but not too brown, if you're my skin tone, it will look so bomb, trust me. So for the next step with the contour, I like to set my face. One thing I've learned about this is instead of using another contour color, you want to go ahead and like bronze it with something that's like bronzy looking. So with this side, I'm going to go ahead and use a contour color. I tend to do this when I'm using a contour stick that doesn't appear, but because this contour stick appeared on my face, I'm going to bronze it instead of going in with a darker contour color. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna use the contour angle brush and use this color right here, and I'm not gonna wipe off the excess. I'm just gonna, what this does, it makes it a lot more harsher than usual. You don't want to do that because it's already dark. You don't want to add dark on top of dark. It makes no sense for you to do that. So it's like, you see? You don't want that. You don't want that, sis. You don't want that. You might be thinking you look good, but somebody else look at you and like, I'm gonna replace my bronze because I ran out of my bronze, and I'm gonna use, actually no I didn't. I'm gonna use two different colors. This is a bronze by Black Radiance. This is a bronze by Black Radiance, and this is the Elf blush. What I'm gonna do, this is a recent technique that I learned. Yeah, I'm gonna get this brush right here, and I'm gonna dip it with my bronze and also dip it with my blush. Dip, 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 brush it off and bronze it. You see that? I don't like my eyeshadow. I feel like my eyeshadow has to go. You see how I'm not harsh compared to this side? Not harsh. This just screams mess with me. This screams a whole lot of vibe right here. What you gotta say? What's good? And then compared to this. Only if I had my spoolie, bro. My spoolie would have helped a lot better with my brows. RIP. I still don't like my brows, but we learn to accept them at some point. So next we are going to fix the, I don't like my eyeshadow, so let me go and fix it real quick. Oh, we're just gonna leave this because I don't really feel like fixing this. This place is already a dupe. So cool. So when it comes to my blush, I like to go in with something depending on my mood. I'm gonna go in with this Elf. Well, I want my blush to stand out. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going with this blush, orangey type of blush color. And we're gonna use this right here. Normally, the correct way to do this is if you use a brush that's a bit like this. But for me, I like using this because it's like, it blends it a lot better. So with my blush, I'm gonna add it to my little brush right here. Brush it out. I personally, this is just for me, my preference, I like to start right here and then I work my way down. So I don't do my cheeks. I do my, what's this? Cheekbone? Yeah. And I apply little by little. You see that? I don't know, for me it looks a lot better when I do that. And if it looks harsh, which I shouldn't have done that, if it looks harsh, I just go in. Now compared to this right here, without even doing this, you just get it and you just, I don't like this. This drives me insane. You see? Let me do these on. So we're gonna go ahead and do the eyes. Put this, and then this, we're gonna also do this because I'm sure everybody can do this. Okay. You see, when you like brush it and you like do this, it helps it to be a lot longer. For me, my technique is the more coats you put on there, the better effect it gets. Compared to this, I'm just doing like a light stroke at the top. What this does is, one, you see the brown underneath the eyes. Compared to this, you don't see any brown. So you don't see any brown powder, nothing. You don't see brown, wait, you don't see any brown powder, nothing, if you guys can tell. And then here you see it. You know, like you just, it doesn't give you that effect on this side. So it's always cute when you do underneath the eyes and not underneath the eyes. So we're almost done. We're almost done. So I'm not a big fan of wearing highlights like that. So I'm just gonna dab a little bit on my nose like I do in every video. I do this most of the time. Like, this is where I usually wear my highlight, like on my nose. And then if I feel like it, I feel like when I do it right here, it's just sometimes it comes off really harsh. But for the sake of the don't side of the video, I'm gonna use this little buddy right here, and I'm gonna harsh it out. That's what a lot of people do. They really do harsh it out. I see this a lot. Like, y'all really want us to see it. You see that? Now onto the lips. My lips, I'm just gonna do what I do best, a natural lip look. This is more like of a brown nudish. I'm gonna do the same thing for the lips. I'm not gonna overdo it. So I'm just gonna go here. This brown is by Nika New York, and it's the A02 brown color. This is actually a perfect brown. I've been looking for the perfect brown, and I think I found it. Just gonna, and I wanna use my fingers. I'm gonna take away the harshness that it gives. And then on this side, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a darker brown, which I also see people do this. And I'm not even gonna wipe it. You see the difference? It gives you that harsh line. I don't like the harshness that it, I just don't. But this is more like of a neutral. I like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to, I wanna use the gloss on this side just to, I just like the gloss. So I'm just gonna set my face. So this is the finished look. You can tell the difference between a face that's naturally just calm and collected. You know, you can just tell the difference between this side right here. I know I didn't lay down my baby egg. Just leave me alone. So you can tell the difference between this side. It's calm. It's saying I got myself together, and then this side is more like so you don't want to look like this. Okay, work on it if you look like this. Something that I normally tell people is you want to practice. Makeup is like art. Makeup is art. The more you practice at it, the better you will get if you take time. Sometimes I just sit at home and I just play with makeup. I feel like when you just play with makeup, you get better at it. Don't be that person that just does makeup when they leave the house. You also want to just sit in the house, put foundation on, and let that foundation oxidize during the day just to see how the foundation fits your skin. I'm one of those people that I like to play around with my makeup, like I said before. When it comes to foundation, before I wear it outside the house, I would try it on in the house just to see if it gets too cakey, too orangey, too dry, too patchy, too creamy, whichever, you know, ingredients they put in that foundation. I like to try it out in the house before I go out with it. And the only way you can get better with makeup is if you play with it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully that was helpful. I know I didn't speak French. I kind of, my thought process kind of drifted away from that, but hopefully whoever speaks French understood what I was saying in English. Je dis que pardonnez-moi si j'ai pas parlé français. Quand je commence à parler français aussi, parler anglais, j'oublie souvent qu'il faut que je parle aussi français. C'est vraiment difficile. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoy making it. You don't want to be, please. It's 2020. We don't want no Marcus, okay? We want somebody good that God sent us, you know. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.